Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Lyons Den Quiz League. I'm back after 2 weeks of recording from Europe on my laptop, which had a bad microphone and no face cam, so sorry about that. I think those recordings went well enough because I didn't really have to do much, but I was also recording them at like 4 in the morning each time, so we're back at a more reasonable hour to finish up week number 3. Week 2 went very well for me. I finished first by a pretty significant margin, actually. I missed, I think, 5 questions in total. So very good week. Week 1, I finished 5th. This week is feeling a little less good, to be quite honest, but I don't know. I'm hoping for top 10 at least, but I think I am going to be leaving some points on the table because there are a couple of quizzes that are like super rough for me. So we're going to get into this. Starting with quiz number 1, which is called Dogs in Other Words. It's an interesting concept for a quiz, you guys will see in a second. So the answer to each question is the name of a dog breed, which will also be pictured. But if you don't know it from the picture, you can get it by figuring out the clues. So it's like each word in the name of the breed is given as a clue in the question. So, for example, blank, 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 the 2-word name of a cocktail made with vodka and coffee liqueur, plus the name of a group of dog breeds that includes Bull, Irish, and Wire Fox. So this is Bull, Irish, and Wire Fox Terrier. These are all terriers. And then the first thing is the White Russian is the cocktail of the dude in The Big Lebowski. So this is going to be a Black Russian. So it should be a Black Russian Terrier. So that's the idea for this quiz. Question number 2. This is a word preceding main repeated. Word preceding main would be chow. So this is a chow chow. This one I would have known even without the clue because I just know what breed of dog this is. But obviously the clue was pretty helpful. I think that's one of the easier questions. Number 3. A demonym used in sports like billiards to describe side spin would be English. And then the name of a position in a volleyball who takes the second touch. Wasn't sure, but I thought about it for a second and realized that setter makes a lot of sense. Setter is a type of dog, and you set the ball up in volleyball, so it makes perfect sense. Question number 4 is the only one here that I'm very unsure about. The name of a position whose holders wore a stylized crown, one version of which was called the Captchas and featured a cobra on the front, plus the name of a group of dog breeds that includes an Afghan and counterpart to the fox. So that's, of course, the fox and the hound. So this is hound. But the first word, I'm not sure. I want to guess pharaoh because the whole cobra thing and the word Captchas sounds very Egyptian to me. So the name of a position, the position would presumably be a pharaoh. But I'm not sure, and I've never heard of a pharaoh hound, so this could be wrong. It feels decent to me, but I'm just not sure. A word used to describe 2 of the 4 parts of the body known in Latin as the digitus secundus. This is an interesting one. This one took me a while, but I did remember learning that the word digit, at some point I learned that the word digit came from like fingers, like it means like 10 in Latin, because there are like 10 fingers, 10 toes kind of thing. So digitus I figured was talking about fingers and toes. And 2 of the 4 parts of the body known as secundus. So secundus sounds like second. So the second finger would be the index finger or the pointer finger. So the 4 parts would be the 2 fingers and the 2 toes. And the 2 fingers would be referred to as the pointer fingers. And I'm pretty sure that pointer is a dog breed, so it makes sense. I mean, I don't think it's called an index, so I'm going to go with pointer instead. And this I just know from the picture, but also the islands of Gozo and Camino are in Maltese. I almost submitted the word Malta there, but we're good. So as for what to enhance, not sure. I feel like either Black Russian or pointer is the way here. I feel like terrier is pretty gettable. I just don't know how gettable the cocktail is. I don't know how knowable that is. And this one you kind of just have to know one thing. But at the same time, it's not necessarily that obvious. Yeah, so to be quite honest, I'm not sure. whether I like 1 or 4 better here. But vodka and coffee liqueur. How noble is that? I mean, if I know a cocktail, a lot of people probably know it, if we're being honest. Because I don't know much about cocktails. But, I don't know. I think I may actually go ahead and enhance number 1. 1 or 5, I think, are the hardest. I don't know which. But, yeah, I'll go with 1. Or maybe 4, but I'm not sure that 4 is correct. So, gonna enhance number 1 and do the usual Captcha. And we will see. Black Russian Terrier, Chow Chow, English Setter, Pharaoh Hound, Pointer, Maltese. So that's 6 out of 6 and a very good start. Not sure if the enhancing was correct, but oh well. I mean, what matters is that I got the questions right. Quiz number 2 is all about beheadings. Perhaps the most famous beheading in art is a biblical scene where a woman decapitates an Assyrian general. So this is Judith and Holofernes. So I'll just say like Holofernes, I guess. But yeah, Judith slaying Holofernes by Gentileschi, Judith beheading Holofernes by Caravaggio, and then a couple others that I haven't heard of. But yeah, the characters are Judith and Holofernes. Question 2. Now this one has been bugging me for a while. And I still have not come up with an answer, so I'm basically just going to give up here, which is really sad because this feels like it's something I should know. But I don't know what's happening here. It's a translation of a poem that describes a challenge issued by a giant. And then the figure picks up his severed head and warns that he will return in a year and a day. So I've thought through things like the Greek epics, like the Odyssey and the Iliad, but I've read those multiple times, and this definitely is not a thing that happens in either of those poems. The other thing I thought of was Beowulf, which seemed good, but then I realized there's no answer that fits, because Grendel is like the main, or the first monster in Beowulf, and Grendel gets his arm ripped off, and then he like retreats back into the fen and just dies. The next monster is his mother, which doesn't make sense because it says his. And then the third monster is a dragon, and this still just doesn't feel good at all to me. A mysterious giant just doesn't sound like the dragon from Beowulf. I don't think this is correct. So I'm kind of out of ideas. I was thinking of like the Poetic Edda, for example, like the Norse. It could be from Norse myth, maybe. I was thinking of stuff from like China, Japan, India, like the Mahabharata, the Ramayana. There might be some giants in those stories, but I don't know them. And yeah, I'm pretty much just out of ideas. I might facepalm when I see the answer here, but I'm just going to guess like Ymir, who's a giant from Norse myth. I'm sure this is wrong, but I'm quite sure that everything from Beowulf or like the Odyssey is 100% wrong. So I'm just going to go ahead and guess this, and yeah, I mean, we'll see what it ends up being. Question 3, Don't Lose Your Head, I Don't Need Your Love, and Ex-Wives are songs from a British musical. A particular group of women from the 1500s. Now, I've never heard of this musical, and I'm guessing most of the people reading this or watching this also have not heard of it, but surely this is talking about the wives of Henry VIII. I mean, one of them lost her head. Ex-wives, group of women from the UK, like it makes kind of perfect sense. So, the name of the musical is the number of people in the group. He had 6 wives, so I figure it's just called 6, I guess. Question 4. Cockroaches. A whole lot of stuff. I don't know what's going on here, but then it just says name both of the other 2 sections of an insect's body other than the head, and this would be the thorax and the abdomen. Question number 5. India lost its head of state when which prime minister was assassinated by a pair of bodyguards? I believe this is Indira Gandhi. I'm slightly worried that it's Rajiv Gandhi because I think he's also a guy who got assassinated, but I'm pretty confident that Indira Gandhi was the one who was assassinated by a pair of bodyguards, so I hope I'm not trolling, but I think that's right. And then this one, unfortunately, I'm not sure. Shower curtain blows inward, the water is increasing the speed of the airflow around it, lowering the air pressure next to the curtain. So it's a principle named after a mathematician and physicist. I kind of want to say it's Bernoulli because Because Bernoulli's principle, I think it's the thing that describes like lift in like airplanes, which might have something to do with like airflow. I'm not really sure, but a principle named after a mathematician and physicist just sounds like it could be Bernoulli to me. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to be sad about question 2, but the rest I feel pretty decent about, and I'm going to enhance number 1 because that is definitely not very easy. It's just something I happen to know from Quiz Bowl. So enhance number 1 and submit. I have no idea what counts as a motorcycle. Like the mirror is poking up into this one. Does that count? I don't know. I'm just going to click these ones. I don't know if the guy's heads count. Okay, we're chilling. Bernoulli's correct. Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, thorax, abdomen, 6th. Oh, the Green Knight. Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay. I figured I was going to feel like an idiot. Yeah, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. That makes too much sense. That makes so much sense, man. Yeah, that's tough. I should be getting that for sure. I thought of like King Arthur, but I, for some reason, forgot that Sir Gawain and the Green Knight was a thing. Like, damn it. I was like, I was thinking of King Arthur and I was like, oh, that's not an epic poem. Those are just like stories. But like, no, there is a poem. Yep, that's a bit tough. Okay, 5 out of 6. Still solid. This next one, not solid. I'm telling you in advance. This, I mean, I'm always bad at pop culture, but this is like, I have no clue what's going on in this quiz. So the first one is the only one I'm 100%, or at least close to 100% sure about. A non-traditional rock instrument that plays licks in Careless Whisper and Baker Street. Careless Whisper is that famous song by George Michael with the saxophone. I think it's a saxophone. I hope it's not like a trombone or something, but I'm pretty sure it's a saxophone solo. If you don't think you've heard this, look it up. You probably have. Okay, the next 4, I don't think I'm getting any of them. So, yeah, kind of tough. The London boutique Sex was run by which designer? I mean, I can't even name a fashion designer, honestly. Like, maybe like Chanel or something, or Versace. I don't know, but those, I don't think those are correct at all. I'm genuinely tempted to just like guess something like Smith because it feels like it has a higher probability of me actually guessing anything else, but I'm not getting this right. Question 3. This introduces a film character whose nickname is Punk, preceded by what word? Again, I've read through this. I could not have less of an idea what's going on. Some of this stuff sounds like British, like Mandem, and like the PM is probably the Prime Minister. So I'm just going to guess like Brit or something, like Brit Punk. I mean, again, I don't know. I don't know what movie this is. I don't know what's going on. But yeah. Question 4. Whatever, like... Characters defeated by what 23-year-old punk bassist who titles a Canadian graphic novel series. Again, could not be more lost here. I'm going to guess a different generic last name for this one. But again, completely ungettable for me. Nothing I can do there. Question 5. What is the title of this story where teenagers in a technologically advanced future use their hacking skills to cause trouble with local institutions and their parents? That sounds like rebelling to me, so I'm going to guess Rebellion. It's also the name of a video game and a sci-fi subgenre. Again, sounds plausible enough that could be those things. So sure, but again, I'm not getting this. And then finally, I think there's a few things here. There's an album, a Russian punk band who was arrested in Moscow, and a feminist punk movement that ends with the word girl. I think the band is Pussy Riot. So I'm gonna say Riot, not Rito. 4-letter word would be riot. I think this is right, and I'm going to money it or enhance it because the first one I think is just too easy. But I think I'm getting 2 correct here. And I'm not sure I've been this lost on any quiz so far in this league. I just have no clue what's going on. So, yeah, tough. Enhance number 6 and submit once I click all the taxis. And riot and saxophone are correct. Spider Punk. Scott Pilgrim. Oh, like Scott Pilgrim versus the world. Okay. Cyberpunk. And Vivienne Westwood. Okay, never heard of her. Spider Punk was the movie intro thing. Again, never heard of that, never getting it. And I'm already forgetting what the other two questions were. But yeah, that didn't go well. let's just leave it at that. So that is a 2 out of 6, and a very unfortunate quiz number 3. But hopefully the rest of them will go a little bit better than that. Quiz 4 is really interesting. It's playing off of the whole Captcha thing, which has become a bit of a meme in these videos because I have to do a Captcha after every quiz. So now there's a Captcha challenge. So it's a grid of 9 images, and it says identify something out of the grid, which is honestly quite fun. First, identify the image taken in Africa. So yeah, we have a lot of vegetation here. Most of this I recognize. I believe it should just be C, because that's a baobab, and you have like the avenue of the baobabs, etc. in Madagascar. So I don't think that kind of baobab grows anywhere outside of Africa, or maybe even outside of Madagascar. But A is like one of the cacti you find in like the yucca things in northern Mexico. B is like a corpse flower, I think. D is like those hydrangeas that are all over the Azores. E, I'm not sure. F is like jalapenos. G are dragon's blood trees from Socotra. And then H and I, again, not sure, but they don't look particularly African, so C is what I'm going with. Now, this one has been messing with me, I'm not going to lie, because, okay, so a few of these I've never seen before. Like H and I don't think I've seen. F, I don't know who it's by. C, I don't know who it's by. D and E are American. They're by Pollock and Wood. G is The Scream by Munch, who's Norwegian. But A and B are messing with me because I think A is I in the Village by, I think, Marc Chagall. But I might be crazy. Like, I might be misremembering who did I in the Village. Is he... Because B, I think, is The Raft of the Medusa, which is by Géricault, who is 100% French. But I thought A was by a French guy, too. But I think... I hope it's Chagall. I might be misremembering, and it might be somebody with a similar name to Chagall. Jesus. But I thought Chagall was French, but he's also from Russia originally, so maybe that he counts as Russian. I think I have to say B here, but I'm not 100% sure that it's not A, so I'm a little worried. Because this might not be The Raft of the Medusa. It might just be another similar thing. I'm not sure. Bit tough, because I should know this cold, but I'm just a little confused. Question 3. Identify the nonprofits. We have Nestle. Definitely not. I'm pretty sure, at least. We have ING, Lacoste. D, I've never seen in my life. E is Lufthansa. Then we have the WWF, Puma, the Miami Dolphins, and Peugeot. So it's really the WWF for me because the World Wildlife Foundation just seems like a thing that would be a nonprofit. D looks like an elephant, but again, I've never seen that logo before, and the rest of these don't sound particularly like nonprofits to me. So we're going to go with F. Which of these won Best Picture? We'll see if G does, but that's yet to be determined. But this is going to be H, which is The Shape of Water, a film that I have never seen, and I'm not even sure I really want to be honest. My family saw it, and they didn't like it very much, but apparently the world did. So yeah, that definitely did win Best Picture. The rest of these, many of them are good movies. WALL-E, great movie, Life of Pi, Whiplash, etc., but they did not win Best Picture. This is an incredibly based question. Identify the South American first level subdivision. I'm kind of sad because I can't figure out what I is, and I think what the rest of them are. But I think A is Heilongjiang in China, B is Calabria, Italy, C is Yukon, Canada, D is Veracruz, Mexico, E is South Australia, F is the Western Cape in South Africa, G is Misiones in Argentina, and H is Kerala in India, I believe. But love the question because I love subdivision outlines and outlines in general. They're super fun. I is just a group of islands. I don't know what's going on, but it's definitely not in South America. So G it is. And finally, identify the creature that originated from Star Trek. A is from Gremlins. B is a dragon. Might be like Game of Thrones or something. I don't know. C, I've seen this before and I can't remember. Are those the little creatures on like Luke's planet in Star Wars? Or am I going nuts? Because I feel like D is also Star Wars. Isn't that like one of the Jar Jar Binks dudes? Or whatever the hell they're called. Anyway, I don't know. E is... I forget the name of those things, but they're from Doctor Who. G is Lord of the Rings. H, no clue. And I is Stranger Things. But F, I believe, is a Tribble from Star Trek. There's a famous episode called The Trouble with Tribbles, where there's like these little like fluffy things that like multiply or something. Anyway, I haven't even seen it. I just know that it's a famous episode. So, okay. This is interesting because, like, I feel like C is fairly easy. Or, sorry, 1 is fairly easy. 3 as well. 4, I think, is pretty gettable. As for the rest, I'm not positive that 2 is correct, so I don't really want to enhance it. Which leaves 5 and 6. I'm really hesitant to enhance a geography question, given the people playing these quizzes. But I feel like I might, because this isn't easy. Like, Misiones, I mean, it is the panhandle of Argentina, so it's like a fairly distinct shape, but it's not that obvious. It's very easy to cheat by looking at a map, but I have to take it on good faith and assume that most people are not cheating. Or all people, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, maybe the Tribble thing, maybe I should go with that one instead. I don't know how known that is, but I feel like people know Star Trek. I'm honestly going to enhance number 5. It's kind of crazy that I'm enhancing geography, but I am going to do it. Dude, I can't even see what is going on here. Okay, it is a Tribble, Misiones, Shape of Water, WWF, Raft of the Medusa, and a Baobab. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that was 6 out of 6. And that was a very fun quiz. Quiz 5 is all about French cooking. Yeah, not something I know much about, but I might be able to struggle through this decently well. Number 1, lardons can be made with cubes of lard, but they're usually made of what kind of meat? Be specific. I don't know, but when I was in France like a week ago, burgers, like if you got a burger with like lard on it, that meant bacon. Like lard was just bacon. So I think it might be bacon. I don't know. Like lardon is probably something I should just know, but again, I'm no cooking expert, so I'm not actually sure what that is, but I'm gonna guess bacon. Question 2. Michelin awards what classification to restaurants serving high quality food at moderate prices? Literally no idea. I might guess like a half star. This is the best thing that's come to mind. Between 1 and 3 stars, so maybe you get a half star for being affordable or something. Honestly, I have no idea, but yeah, I'm just not going to get that right. Chefs use a tool called a cartouche, which sits directly on the surface of a liquid to keep solid ingredients submerged and prevent the formation of a skin. What material is a cartouche traditionally made from? No clue. I have no idea what a cartouche is. I'm just going to guess wood because it's a material that sounds plausible. I mean, it could be like glass or plastic or whatever, but wood just kind of seemed better than anything else, so I'll just go with that. It's probably something really specific, but I'm not going to get it. But the next few questions I think are a little bit better for me. So this is called Le Creuset. It is just a famous enough... we have a couple Dutch oven things, or at least one in our cabinet. There's like this bright orange thing. But I think these are famous for being single colored and very high quality. But that is the name of the company. Many recipes in French cooking start with a vegetable mix called a mirepoix. I'm quite sure that one of them is celery. I think what were they? Celery, carrot, and I think onion. I'm not positive about onion. That was the one I'm least sure about, but I think it's celery, carrot, onion. But I'm prepared to be wrong and facepalm on that one. And then question 6. French names specify different ways of cutting up produce. Cutting into pieces the size and shape of matchsticks Is referred to using what French name? Of all the cuts with French names, this is the only one a foodie could name a child after without being judged. So this, I think, is called Julienne, or Julienne, which sounds like a girl's name, so that checks out. And I do think that's a way of cutting things, even though I could not have told you what it actually was. But I think that is hopefully correct. So I'm not sure about 1, 2, or 3. And I think 5 and 6 are probably easier than 4, so I'm going to go ahead and enhance number 4. And submit. Is that a chimney? I guess so. It's like a smokestack, though. Does that count? Questions. Who knows? All right. Julienne, onions, carrots, and celery is correct. Le Creuset is correct. Paper. Wow. Pork belly or bacon. Okay, bacon's correct. Nice. Bib gourmand. What? Okay. I don't know what the heck that is. What was that question again? Jesus. Oh, it's the Michelin thing. Okay, yeah, that is ridiculous. I've never heard of that in my life. But 4 out of 6 on a cooking quiz is perfectly fine by me, given I literally don't cook at all because I don't like cooking. But hey, I'll take it. Cool. And then paper. Man, I thought of paper, but that just didn't seem like a reasonable response. That just sounded wrong, obviously. I think if you don't know that, you're probably not going to guess paper because that's just a weird thing to guess, but fair enough. Question 6. Quiz 6. It's a science quiz. Number 1. Scientists discovered the existence of the animal species known as the Walter's duiker, but it took 11 more years to actually get a picture of one. What kind of animal? A subgroup of bovids that includes gazelles, pronghorns, and reeboks. I think this is just like antelopes. Like, I think these are all sub, like, not genres, but, you know, sub group. What is it? I don't know, dude. Genera, species. I don't know, man. Whatever. I think they're all antelopes. Question 2. If you were to fire an electron at a solid wall every second for eternity, one of them would eventually pass through the wall, though all life in the universe would almost certainly have ceased to exist well before then. Quantum mechanical phenomenon, known by what name? Literally the only quantum mechanical phenomenon I can even name is tunneling, like quantum tunneling. I'm just trying to think of phrases that are like quantum blank, and tunneling is the only thing that even comes into my mind. But I think it could be right, because like tunneling through a wall like makes sense. I don't actually really know what quantum tunneling is, but it seems reasonable enough to me. So yeah, tunneling. Question 3. Acquire several milligrams of berkelium-249. Shout out UC Berkeley, hell yeah. Bombard it with a beam containing trillions of calcium-48 ions per second, etc., etc. Cook up element number 117. What was the name given to this element? So element number 117 is called tennessine, which I just know, but I mean, it's named after a non-Russian state home to multiple institutions. So yeah, Tennessee. Question 4. First commercially viable LEDs were produced in the 60s, but it took until the 90s for one of what color to be produced. Light waves of this color have a shorter wavelength than most other colors, so probably just purple, because the shortest wavelength on the visible spectrum is purple. It does say then most other colors, which makes me think of like, what if it's blue? But their eventual discovery ushered in a new full color era. So if it went full color after this one, then it feels like it would be the last one. So I think purple makes the most sense. And then maybe it just says most colors because there are like certain shades of purple that are slightly higher frequency. So yeah, purple. Question 5. The current record for the longest running laboratory experiment is held by the University of Queensland. Involves a slowly dripping sample of what substance so viscous that 9 drops have fallen in 86 years. I have no idea. It says a derivative of tar. I can't say I'm up to speed on my derivatives of tar, but maybe I'll just say like pitch, because I know that pitch is a word for like sticky, well, it's some kind of sticky substance. So I don't know what pitch is, but it seems like a good enough guess to me, so I'm going to go with it. And then this, I like this question a lot. It's quite funny. A prime number is a number that has no factors except for one and itself. Any number can be written as a product of prime numbers, and finding the prime numbers whose product is a given number is a notoriously hard task. That's why we're having you do it. This behemoth of a number is the product of two distinct prime numbers. Name either of these numbers. So this seems impossible, obviously, until you realize that it ends in a 2. So it's an even number. And the only way to multiply two numbers and get an even number is to have at least one of them be even. And there is only one even prime number, and it's 2. So 2 has to be the answer here, because there's, if you multiply two odd numbers together, you get an odd number otherwise. So it should just be 2, obviously. And if it was anything but that, this would be an unreasonable question anyway. So, As for what to enhance, I want to enhance tunneling, but I'm just not confident enough that it's correct. Like, I think it probably is, but I could be wrong. And I know that Tennessine is right, and that's still, I think, pretty difficult. So I think 3 is safer, even though 2 might be slightly better. So I'm going to enhance 3. It's like poking up into the top. Like, why do they make it ambiguous, man? Speaking of which, where is this? If you're watching, let me know what what street sign this is. It's like Toronto or something? I don't know. Okay, that worked. 2, and then something ridiculous. Pitch is actually right. Blue. Wow. It was actually blue. Really? I just thought maybe the stuff that was still higher frequency was just different shades of purple. But how is it full color? What about purple? Like, did they get purple soon after blue or what? Interesting. Okay, I honestly thought purple would be right, but I was worried about blue, so there you go. The rest of them were correct. I honestly wasn't sure that pitch would be right, so honestly I will take it. Tunneling was also correct, so 5 out of 6. And another very fun quiz. And finally, quiz number 7. On March 7th, which country became the 32nd nation to join NATO? All of this country's neighbors are members of NATO, but the same cannot be said for those neighbors, which means they border a country that isn't part of NATO. Now, I'm pretty sure it was Sweden. I remember getting this question at bar trivia with Looney, coincidentally enough, about 2 months ago, that was asking about this exact thing. I was worried that it was Finland, but Sweden makes perfect sense given the cluing, because it borders only Norway and Finland, which it would be plausible that those are NATO members. But Norway and Finland each border Russia, which is definitely not a NATO member, so I think Sweden surely has to be the answer here. Question 2, what actress won Best Actress over Lily Gladstone? It was Emma Stone. Very clever cluing here, by the way. This Poor Things is the name of the movie that Emma Stone was in. So that's kind of a fun little Easter egg in that question. Never seen the movie, but I remember, again, right before bar trivia, I was studying, like, because it was the week after the Academy Awards, so we were just like looking at, okay, who won what awards, and Emma Stone was the one who won Best Actress. Number 3, this one took me ages, but I think I might have gotten to it. Daniel Kahneman wrote a book describing 2 modes of thought, one logical and calculating, the other reactionary and sometimes irrational. What contrasting adjectives does he use to describe these ways of thinking? I think it might be thinking fast and slow. Might be the name of the book, because the phrase thinking fast and slow rings a bell for me. I was thinking of stuff like, impulsive and shrewd and whatever, and I was not getting far. And then I started trying to think of just contrasting adjectives, and then I thought of fast and slow and realized, wait a second, that is, I think, actually a thing. So I'm going to go with fast and slow. Question 4, British man named Russ Cook, the legend himself, 1s and 2s, the hardest geezer, accomplished the feat of running the length of Africa. He ran from the southern tip of South Africa to the northern tip of Tunisia over the course of about a year. Just an unbelievable feat of human achievement. Just, it's actually crazy that he did that. But yeah, he literally ran like marathon after marathon after marathon from the bottom of Africa to the top through like insane weather, through like bandits and war zones. It's just absolute madness. But an absolute legend for what he accomplished. Question number 5. Two largest Indian parties in the election are the centrist INC and what right-wing party? India's largest political party, of which Narendra Modi is a part. This, I believe, is called the BJP. I forget what it stands for, like Bharat something something, but the BJP is like that big party in India. And then question number 6, the Israel-Hamas conflict. On the pro-Palestinian side, many protesters are calling for their peers and governments to subscribe to the tenets of the BDS movement. Or the BDSM. Why did I say that? Bro. Anyway, it is an acronym consisting of 3 economic actions the movement advocates taking with regards to Israel. So economic actions, I'm thinking like, what can you do? Like boycott could be the B. S could be like sanction. Like there's a few ideas here. I've never actually heard of this, so I'm gonna be guessing. But sanction, I don't know, sounds like a thing that you would do. So I don't know, it seems reasonable enough, but it's a total guess. And then as for what to enhance, it's gotta be number 5, I think, because BJP is definitely not trivial. I don't think Emma Stone is easy either, but it's probably a little more gettable. And again, this Russ Cook isn't that easy, but within this community, I think a lot of people know who he is. So yeah, enhance number 5, submit. Motorcycles. And finally, we will see. Sanctions, nice. Boycott, good. Bharatiya Janata, that's what it's called, but BJP, fast and slow, Emma Stone, Sweden, Africa, beautiful. So that is a 6 out of 6 and probably a good enhance as well, I would guess. That or Emma Stone has to be the optimal one. And that does it for the week. It is 9:41. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to update this, but I will just pause the recording and come back once they have. And I will wrap up the week. I'm guessing I'm probably somewhere between 5th and 10th right now, because I did quite well overall, but I had a couple quizzes that were pretty bad. Especially the pop culture quiz was quite bad. But otherwise, I think it went very well. So yeah, I'm gonna hop off for right now, but I'll see you guys, well, in an instant, and I will wrap up the week. Alrighty, we are back for a quick little recap of the week, which has now concluded. I did finish in 5th place, which is honestly a little bit probably better than I expected. So very, very solid, and honestly wasn't even that far off of like 2nd place. But I have to give a shout out to Sawyer with an absolutely ridiculous performance. He missed 2 questions all week, both of which were in the last quiz. 44.73 is that's surely the best score we've seen in the history of this league. Absolutely insane performance. Getting, how many questions are there? 42? What, so 40 out of 42 correct? It's absolutely nuts. So massive congrats to Sawyer on the week win and for being number 1 after 3 weeks. I think it's a 5-week season now. I am, in fact, in 2nd place, which is, well, pretty darn good. I'm certainly happy with that, given the quality of the competition here. But I'm still a solid 4.5 points behind Sawyer. So, yeah, if dude continues to perform the way he did in week 3, he's probably going to run away with it. But we'll see if I can mount a comeback here. But still very happy with how I've played so far. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed hearing my thought process through the questions as usual. And yeah, I will see you next week for week number 4. But yeah, until then, hope you enjoyed and see you later.